Yo, what is up, guys? It's Bankrupt Dope, back again with another video. And today we are doing one more video on Zenless Zero. Now, what do I mean by this? I mean like one more video where I am talking and you're gonna get this format of the talk, right? After this, I'll just be uploading regular in-game content of, I guess, just trying to do stuff. But this is gonna be the last one of this format because I guess that I've talked about everything he's talked about. But before we hop into anything today, I'll be having a good day today. And if you're not having a good day, I hope your day gets better. You already know the drill. Now, I just watched I was just sitting here scrolling through my YouTube and like, dang, I don't really have anything to watch. And I always have something playing in the background while I'm doing stuff. And I had played MTash's video. He talked about his other honest review and everything. And it's funny because like he essentially covered everything that, like, in the same ways he's kind of covered how I feel about the game, right? Like, we kind of say the same things. I'll say some things people might disagree with me because whatever. And then some people might agree with me at all. Or some people might agree with me. Most of the time, people disagree with me. And I really do think it's just a thing of, I am not your favorite creator. Like, I feel like people might not realize it, but most people tend to have a bias towards their creator that they are watching. They tend to take on their opinions and and then they make those opinions their own. That's what tends to happen a lot. And so when some people might watch my content and be like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. You are wrong. But then another creator can make the same kind of video that I'm making on the same like things and have the same kind of opinions. And it's more, and now it's all like, yeah, you're right. But I think the reason everybody's saying it, yeah, he's right, when I read MTash's comments, because that's his fan base. His fan base kind of takes his opinions, whilst people that might love everything this game's doing is in a different person's comments. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? Oh, that makes sense. But I just want to go ahead and throw it out there, right? So we're gonna go over what I think is this game's biggest problem, right? Because a lot of people are dropping off. Why are people dropping off? We know why people are dropping off, right? And you can argue with me all you want, but it is especially prevalent in this game. I feel like it's an objective reasoning at this point, right? You can say it's subjective, but the proof is in the pudding. The problem is the MiHoYo recipe. Why is this game not flourishing? Is because MiHoYo followed their recipe that they done for every other game. That's why this game isn't working. I want you to look at all the bad aspects of this game, right? And I want you to apply those same bad aspects to the other games that you've played in MiHoYo's verse. So, let's just start with exploration. What was the big driving point of Genshin Impact when it first released, right? Oh, there's this big, beautiful world. There are a combination of attacks. But mostly the big exploration of worlds what really got people, right? It was Zelda. That's where that exploration came from. It came from Zelda. Zelda had a massive craze in terms of where the exploration was, and the puzzles and all that, and how you could do anything to get to where you want it. That Zelda game was ahead of its time. And then MiHoYo said, hey, we like that, let's add that into a gacha game. So this beautiful world that you guys love to traverse, it comes from Zelda. You know what I mean? Like it's definitely from Zelda first, and then MiHoYo said, let's use that, let's adapt it. Nothing wrong with that, but I'm just saying that's where it's coming from. That's where the Genshin translation worked. But they said, let's throw some things in the world. We gotta throw some things in the world. We gotta throw some like caves in there, but there aren't really caves. We're gonna like make those artifacts and stuff. You get your artifacts and stuff behind that, right? And then let's throw some chests around the world that give you very, very minimal resources as you open them. And even the big ones really only give you a fraction of anything, if we're gonna be 100% honest. But let's throw those all across the world. Let's throw some statues in there that if you get these little floating things across the world, they'll increase that statue. And that's going to be the large bulk, that's going to be like 40 to 50% of your playtime, right? Just walking around the map. That's going to be a large chunk of what you do. And text, right? Like story. And then let's look at Star Rail. Quite literally the same thing, but now you're more instance-based, meaning like you have zones now. They literally carbon copy. You took away statues, but now you just have chests all over the map. You walk, I open chest. If there's enemy on field, I hit enemy. But that's about it. That's really about the creme de la creme of the Star Rail world, right? And then there's the little puzzles all across that you can do, but none of these things are combat. You notice that, right? A lot of these things are not necessarily combat focused. It's just things to do in the game. So Star Rail has a lot of just like, little mini games for you to do. Oh, fix the clock. Oh, find the origami birds. You know what I mean? And like in Genshin Impact's case, those things were like find little Anemo statue power-ups, find chests, all these little trivial things that aren't having to do anything with combat. But then they make Zenless Zone Zero, and I do think I know they cut corners with this game. You can say whatever you want. They cut corners with this game. I think they took an easy way out. I think some of the things that they did in this game could have been done better if they wanted to. And I'm going to use the energy as an example. Why is there not a passive energy regen thing right here? There is no reason that should not be in this game. And they did that on purpose. So, you can try to say, oh, no, they don't cut corners. They're doing everything perfect. No, they're not. They do things in hopes they can catch us with it later. So they didn't put it there so they can add an update and so they can get praised and so people can talk about it when they do a live stream. That's why it's not there. If I'm just going to be 100% honest. But when we're talking about Zenless Zone Zero, right? Like, what's the copying of this game? Well, first off, the maps are way smaller, right? The maps are essentially navigable in minutes. You can get everything you need on this map in literal seconds. Like, look how big this area is, right? This is the area where you can do your shield defense and all this stuff and your in-game content, and this is just about this big. Now, obviously, this is probably one of the smallest areas in the game, but all the other areas are just not that big. There's not that much, and I'm not interested in them. There's nothing to do in them. They kind of just exist. Kind of how all the other areas are in Genshin Impact and Genshin Impact and Star Rail. The only difference is that there are enemies that lurk on the map and there are chests for you to open. So it makes you want to walk around the world. But at the end of the day, those worlds are still pretty empty, if I'm going to be 100% honest. You might disagree with me, but if you take it at face value and really look at those worlds, they're pretty empty. The outer world is pretty freaking empty. Besides trash mobs and chests. It's pretty dead. So, this game has an open world of walking around. It's just dead altogether. It's just dead. You don't get to traverse with your characters. But what you do get to do is go through TVs. And that is the transportation of this game, right? And why does it feel so bad, right? People are saying, why do the TVs feel so bad? Because transportation feels bad to me, Hill, in general. If you get what I'm saying. If you are not playing this game for the sake of the story, you want to play a game as a gacha, the traversal of Genshin Impact and Star Rail is miserable. Because at the end of the day, what you want to do is play the game. You want to fight the bosses. You can come up with whatever convoluted excuse you want. But for the people that are playing for content's sake, I want to play the game. I want to use my characters. None of them are praising the game for, I got to run around and hit a bush and collect berries. No, that's not what you're playing this game for. And so it's annoying when you have to go through the so-called traversal of the game. And in Genshin Impact, that's exploring the big world. In Star Rail, that's walking around. And in this game, it's TVs. The only difference is that the TVs was just lazier than those other two sets of traversal. But at the end of the day, they achieved the same thing, and that's wasting my time and not giving me anything to fight. You know what I mean? Does that make sense? At the end of the day, all of their traversals just do something that's not me fighting. And so, those little things, and you can come over here, like, right, we talk about the bosses in the game. The bosses aren't hard. They're easy. I can beat this game with one hand, and I will be doing that. I will beat these hard bosses with a singular hand. When I get my characters built, and I go into Shiyu defense, I will beat it with a singular hand. Do you understand me? I will not use my left hand. I will use my right hand so I can attack, counter, and dodge. That's all I need to do. I do not need to move my character. I will stand in one spot and beat it. Which goes into the next problem. That the difficulty isn't the bosses. The difficulty is the same difficulty that is in every single MiHoYo game on planet freaking Earth. Relics. Relics are the difficulty. The timer is the difficulty. And it is not exclusive to this game. It is not exclusive to this game. Because let me tell you let me tell you why, right? If you give me the resources I need on Star Rail, you give me fully built characters, I can clear everything in that game with minimal knowledge. You can drop 8 new characters on that game, and it will take me no time at all if I have the resources and I have them built right. And you say these are all 8 new characters, but they're fully built. Go beat, what do you call it? Go beat Simulator Universe. Go beat Memory Chaos. I can. Because that's not difficult. So beating the content is not difficult. The difficult part is getting the resources. That's where you waste your time. And to go even further with that, it's even more prevalent in this game. And the difficulty in this game is just non-existent. Because MiHoYo is MiHoYo. Nothing they do is difficult. They don't like to really take too much time to make things difficult. And if they do, it's in a very niche way, like crowd control. All of Star Rail's difficulty is in crowd control. My hardest time in that game is crowd control. Other than that, when it's not crowd control, I can beat the game pretty easily. You know what I mean? And like, this isn't me hating on the game. Like, I don't think this is the worst game ever, but I think this game is underperforming due to all the bad qualities that MiHoYo actually has that are now coming to people's frontal cortex. Does that make sense? These are not like these are unknown things that it's only in this game that these things are bad. No, these are bad across all of their games. The resource problem is bad across all of their games. The non-changing banner types is bad across all their games. The non-changing, I could just go through it. There's no stamina boost. Like, they can do things where they have, hey, on the weekends your stamina refreshes at triple the rate and you get triple. These are things that they don't do. They don't go out of the box, really, ever. And they made this is now the 4th game in their installment. And they had time. They had the resources to do something different. And they chose to do what they always do and use the MiHoYo recipe. And the MiHoYo recipe is what's going to kill this game. And let me not even say kill it, but it's gonna be in line with what most other gachas. It's gonna be in line with. It's gonna be behind mobile gachas, which is the funny thing about it. This game is gonna be in the back behind mobile gachas. Like, One Piece Treasure Cruise is in front of this game, going to be in front of this game in terms of quality players, amount of money spent on game. Because the MiHoYo recipe is old. It is old. Over the past 5 years, if you're a 5-year MiHoYo player, you've eaten the same food for 5 years. You need to eat something different. You gotta eat something different. And MiHoYo didn't get that message. When your kid said that, I don't want to eat that food anymore. I want to try something different. Can you make me something different? And MiHoYo said, boy, shut up. You getting the same food. And so here we are with Zenless Zone Zero with the same old, same old. They gave us events, and the first 2 events are trash tier events. I'm not going into this. These are trash tier events. Why are they trash tier events? Because this is the MiHoYo recipe. This is what they do. They did this in Star Rail. Don't know if they did this in Genshin, but they did it in Star Rail. They love to throw a whole bunch of throwaway events at you. Give me one happy event, and everybody's like, oh, everything's good. But no, it's a problem in this game, right? It wasn't a problem in Star Rail, but it's a problem in this game. It was a problem in both games. That's the truth of the matter. Is you chose to ignore it and playing it as it wasn't a problem, but it is. This is MiHoYo recipe. Friendship Supervision is MiHoYo recipe. It's the other one. They had to nerve to put this crap. Why is the arcade in the game? MiHoYo can't help themselves. They did not have to add an arcade into their game. They have a game on the market that has no mini games. Honkai Impact 3. I mean, maybe it does today, but in their initial release, for their first couple of years, they did not do this bullcrap fluff minigame stuff. But they realize that they can play their community by adding this and no one's going to complain about it. Because most people don't. Because who gets most of the views on YouTube? Guide makers. Guide makers get most of the views and everybody else falls behind them. But nobody cares about the real reviews about how to make the games better. Everybody just wants to hear, how do I beat boss? And that's about it. But let's try to make the game better. I think this is where it starts, y'all. This is where it starts. I think MTash's video should have way more views than what it does. Because until the community starts saying, hey, maybe let's get some new stuff. Let's get a new format. They're gonna keep giving us the same bullcrap. And I know I won't be putting more money into this game. I might buy out the sales, but then that'll be about where it stops. I don't have any drive to want to spend any money in this game. I don't have any drive to put any money in Star Rail either. You know, like my Star Rail account is at the moment. I'm just over the recipe, right? Like I just am. You know, they dropped the cool stuff. I see it. I'm like, ooh, I like it. But I just feel like there's not enough change, in my opinion, to play Zenless Zone Zero and Star Rail to want to invest heavily in both of them, because I feel like I'm doing the same thing in both. And so I just don't need to, I don't want to go super crazy in either one. And I'm going to play both. I still like Zenless Zone Zero, right? Let's make that clear. Somebody might think I'm saying all this to say I don't like Zenless Zone. No, I like Zenless Zone Zero. But I think this game could be so much better. Make more difficult bosses. Cut out mini games. MiHoYo, please. Can people like this video and comment, please? I want this to blow up. I really think they can put this game on the map if they just do a few things. Let's stop wasting money and resources and your staff's efforts to make some cute mini game and that it. Let's just make combat. That's what the game was promoted as. We thinking we about to be fighting and scrapping. And we do. But let's make that the full focal point of the game and make some difficult and interesting bosses. I'm done ranting. That's all I have to say. I feel like I've said all I could say about the game. Like I said, people will probably still disagree and say the game's perfectly fine. But I think the numbers are showing for itself. And it's not for the sake of the game being bad. It's for the sake of MiHoYo is just using the same recipe. And it's over for a lot of people. That recipe, they can only deal with this recipe in one game. And then only one game. And that's going to be Star Wars Genshin Impact. They don't want to deal with it in a third game. They might not say it and they might not even realize it. But that's what it is that you're just tired of the same old recipe. And the same old recipe just looks even uglier now in a game that you already played this recipe in. That's it. Thanks for watching if you watch. Drop a like on this video if you liked it. Comment something down below. Can we go viral for one time in my life? That'd be cool. I really want this. I want this to be a topic. I want the community to actually talk about this. I want the game to be so much better. And that's just like my thing, right? I guess that's my problem with these games. I always want the games to be better. But nobody really cares about that. People just want to see me spin and summon. It's really all it is. But yeah, I'm done. Thank you for watching. Peace.